Hey girl, hey, welcome back to another vlog. If you are returning, welcome back. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Dr. Kierrah. I am a millennial, a mom of two, a wife, a clinical therapist, an educator, and a healer. And this vlog is actually going to be an intro into a series that I'm going to be doing around my spiritual journey, as well as my process of getting my certification as a somatic trauma healer. And in true mom fashion, I am hiding from my kids in my bathroom. I am sitting on my bathroom floor. You probably see all the junk on my bathroom counter behind me. Don't let that distract you. Today's video is going to be real chatty, not my typical vlog, because I want to just sit down and be able to chat with you guys about things that I am doing to, I don't want to say start a spiritual journey, because I've been on a spiritual journey for a long time, but more so how I am going about rededicating myself to my spiritual journey, getting back into my spiritual practices and habits after having my second child. So for me, having children, birthing children, carrying children in your womb and like literally bringing them to life is a spiritual practice, like just within itself. Birthing a child is a spiritual experience. And with each of my children, after I gave birth to them, it took me down a new spiritual path, like a new awakening. And with my oldest daughter, she's 8. After I had her, that started my Reiki journey as a Reiki practitioner. If you have not watched my channel trailer, I highly recommend you watch my trailer after this video. I go into depth about who I am, why I am here on YouTube, how I've showed up on YouTube before, and my new found way of showing up on YouTube. And that'll give you some more detail. But for context around what I'm stating here, I am a Reiki master, and I started my Reiki journey as a Reiki practitioner right after I had my oldest daughter 8 years ago. I was literally in Reiki level 1, taking breaks to pump so that I can have milk for after my class to be able to feed her. And that was my journey. And I want to say that was like my introduction into spirituality, and that is really what spearheaded my practice as a energy-based mental health therapist. So as I mentioned, this video today is going to be very sit down. It's going to be very chatty. So grab your tea, grab your coffee, grab your water. If you're doing something, you can use this as an opportunity to listen to me. It's not going to be any high graphics and visuals. I really want to talk with you and connect with you and take you along this journey with me. I'm also going to be sharing, I might have stated already, that I'm going to talk to you about the steps that I am doing to rededicate myself to my spiritual journey, my personal spiritual practice, and as well as the energy-based therapy interventions that I am using with my clients. Okay, so I was talking about my oldest daughter and how that took me down my Reiki journey as a Reiki practitioner. I'm now a Reiki master. So I've been practicing Reiki for about 8 years now. And I started Reiki for myself. I wanted to be able to learn Reiki as a way to be able to heal myself energetically, to just bring my own personal energy into alignment. And I saw what it was doing for me. So I then began to offer it to my clients. My therapy clients, my mental health therapy clients. And I did something called Reiki Friday. So I would have regular like talk psychotherapy with my clients Monday through Thursday. And then on Friday, I will reserve that time to engage my clients who are interested into Reiki. And that totally took my practice like to where I didn't even imagine. First of all, I didn't even think people would take to that. And what I found was that there were so many women looking for alternative and holistic ways of healing. And to be honest, just sitting on a couch talking to a therapist wasn't cutting it. What we learn in therapy as a therapist is how to teach our clients how to cope. And what I was bringing my clients was how to heal. And I think that is really what stuck out to my clients. So my practice grew. I was just a private practice owner, just me solo by myself. And in less than a year, I had to move my office to a larger office space and bring in other therapists to work with me so that I can focus on the energy-based modalities. So I had other therapists in my practice that did more of the talk therapy modalities. I offered Reiki, and I also offered yoga and sound healing within my therapy practice. So that is the journey that I was on after my first child. Well, with my second child that is 2 years old, if you haven't watched the video, make sure you watch it after this. I'll link it in the description, where I talk about my postpartum depression journey. I had experienced postpartum for like the first year and a half, almost 2 years of her life. And I noticed my postpartum depression actually started while I was pregnant with her. During that time, I was very anxious about giving birth because I literally almost died when I gave birth to my first child. So getting pregnant the second time, I was carrying around so much anxiety and so much fear about this pregnancy. And that spiraled into depression, into intrusive thoughts, and it got really dark while I was pregnant. And then after I had her, postpartum depression hit me. I want to say probably within the first couple weeks, and it started to get worse and worse and worse. And what's so crazy is that when I was pregnant with my second child, I was 20 weeks pregnant, and I had took a group of women to Tulum, Mexico on a retreat. It was called the Busy Boss Mom Retreat. And I took a group of women who spend a lot of their time and their energy pouring into their children, but don't take time away for themselves. And I took them on this beautiful luxe retreat to Mexico, and I was 20 weeks pregnant. So it's just so full circle that I was doing this work while I was pregnant with her. And then after I had her, I had my own experience with postpartum depression. And now I am being called to focus on working with mothers. So it's just a full circle moment, because I'm now seeing this second birth is like my second calling and my second awakening to be able to help these women, be able to help these mothers. And in therapy, we'll find a lot of times like Christian-based therapists, but you don't often find more open-minded, more expansive-minded spiritual therapists. And I feel like that is very unique to the way that I practice with my clients. So in addition to being a PhD level mental health clinician, I'm also a Reiki master, a certified yoga teacher, a certified human design reader. I'm a sound practitioner. What else? Is that everything? I'm also, I practice Ifa, Afro spirituality as well. And I sometimes infuse that into my therapy with my clients who are looking to really connect with their ancestors and really invoke that indigenous practice into their therapy work to help them feel more grounded and more connected. So I am, or have been, learning how to embody all of my practices with the work that I'm doing with my clients. So let's go into how I am reclaiming my time with my spirituality, because after having that second child and going through postpartum depression, sleepless nights, I lost sight of some of my day-to-day practices that I did to really connect to my spirituality. I lost sight of my intuition sometimes, like especially with depression, just being able to trust myself and trust my intuition. I lost that after my second child. So I am rededicating myself to my spiritual practices, and I want to talk now about exactly how I am doing that. So first things first, one thing about me is that before I hold space for other people, I always make sure that I'm working on myself. So I am a part of a 13-week mentorship apprenticeship program with other light workers, other healers, also other mental health professionals. I am being taught under or along with my spiritual mentor. And what I want to say is, as a therapist, what we learn in school is that to be the best therapist, you also need to be in therapy. And I sometimes find that, people that are offering spiritual based services sometimes don't take that same thought pattern or that same mentorship, which I know is so unique with me, because not only do I have the book knowledge as a PhD mental health clinician, I also have that spiritual insight as well. So fusing my spirituality with my book knowledge, I know is very unique. And so I take that same principle that I learned in school in my books as being a therapist, that in order to be the best therapist, you need to be in therapy. Well, in order to be the best spiritual practitioner guiding my clients through their spiritual journey, I also need to be in a container where I am guided through my own spiritual journey. So I have enrolled into a 13-week mentorship apprenticeship program with my spiritual leader. And another thing on that is, I think it's very important that, just talking about spirituality, that those who are guiding others also has somebody to guide and support them. You'll see a lot of people are like self-proclaimed, or they're operating from like their own understanding and their own knowledge, but they haven't been taught by anyone. They're not around other peers in the space. And I think it's very important to have community in your healing process, yes, but as a practitioner, to have a community of like-minded people that are your peers. It honestly reminds me of therapy. In therapy, we are taught to connect with our peers for supervision, to connect with, a therapist that has more experience than us for supervision, to have containers where we case consult tough cases or just cases we want to bring to our peers. The same thing should be true for spiritual practitioners or practitioners, again, that are guiding clients or whomever through spiritual journeys. Do you have your own container? Do you have your own peer group that you're talking through things with? Like, do you have that space? If not, I highly recommend it. It is so important. And for those of you all who are looking to be guided by someone, these are the type of questions you want to ask. Just like if you're looking to work with a therapist, you want to know, like, where did you go to school? Are you licensed? Like, right? Same thing with spiritual practitioners. It's like, where'd you get your certification? Are you even certified? Who do you practice under? What lineage do you come from? Like, these are certain questions you should ask folks before you engage in working with them. So on the spirituality realm, that is what I am doing. I am super excited about that. And it's really going to be this next level for me. Like, I have gone through so many phases of my spiritual journey. And I'm telling you, after the second child, that postpartum depression that I went through, oh my gosh, I know what's about to be birthed in this container that I'm in with my peers is about to be magical and amazing, and I'm so excited for it. The way that I'm gonna vlog this journey, it's gonna be different from my weekly mom vlogs that I've been doing. I'm going to still do those weekly, and I'm probably just going to infuse these in and post these on a different day to not get them confused. I'm going to always bring it back to motherhood because I know I'm not alone. I've talked to other mothers after having children. They sometimes find themselves disconnected from their intuition, disconnected from their spirituality, disconnected from their body, from trusting themselves. So I am going to connect this to motherhood always because I am a mom and I always will be a mom. So everything that I talk about will be connected to motherhood. So if you are a mom that is on a new spiritual journey, maybe this is your first journey, your second journey, your third journey, whatever. Or if you're just interested to see how my journey and my path goes, I highly recommend that you subscribe to my channel and turn on your post notifications so you know when I release a new video. Okay, so that is on the spirituality side. That is going to be mine. I have a whole list here. I wrote things down so I wouldn't forget because my mommy brain still be mommy braining. But I want to talk a little bit about the somatic trauma certification that I'm also receiving. So yes, I am a PhD licensed mental health therapist, but I am a learner. Like, I don't think I will ever stop seeking knowledge, stop seeking understanding. I'm also interested in doing more research. My dissertation for my PhD was about therapists who use alternative medicine in their therapy practice. And it was such a beautiful research project. If you're interested, I'll share it with you guys. It's really long, but it's such a good read and it's such a good body of research. And I want to get more into that research because in my private practice, I have coached and trained other therapists around how to interject spirituality into their therapy practice. So I know there are other therapists that do this. And in my dissertation research, I got to interview those therapists. So I don't even know how I got on that tangent. Anyways, I am getting my certification as a somatic trauma practitioner, and I've honestly been doing this work already, but I want to get certified in it. And I want to learn more because I know there is more to learn, especially with me being a therapist that engage my clients in Reiki, that engage my clients in meditation and yoga and sound healing. We're already doing a lot of energy and body-based practices. However, I'm interested in this certification to, one, be able to learn from another professional, two, to be in a cohort of other like-minded therapists that are also interested in this work. And then what number was on? That was one, that was two. And then three, to be able to offer this service to my clients. Again, I've already been doing this work, but I'm sure there is more that I'm going to learn from this experience. So when you take my rededication to my spirituality that I am doing personally for myself in this 13-week apprenticeship, so excited about that. Oh my gosh, I can just rant and rave about my excitement because I am going to be with my teacher. She started off as my spiritual life coach and just has turned into just this amazing teacher, and I'm so excited to learn with her. So when you take that work I'm doing on my personal side, like that's for me, like what I'm doing for me, and then you take the somatic trauma certification, I have to get like the full name for it, but the traumatic, hold on, let me find it. Okay, I found it. It's the somatic trauma therapy certification. So I will become a certified somatic therapy practitioner. So when you take the work I'm doing with myself personally, and then you take the work in somatic therapy that I am going to be getting certified in for my clients, I am so excited to see where this journey takes me, again, on my personal side, as well as with my clients. Something I'm not sure if I shared in other videos is that I closed my private practice due to my postpartum depression. I shared in this video that the depression started while I was still pregnant, and I just felt intuitively after I had her, I would not be able to carry my business. So I closed my practice and I took a year of maternity leave, a year of not working. And after she turned 1, I felt well enough to begin working. So I got a job. I got a job because, hey, bills have to be paid. I went a whole year without working. Thank you to my husband and our savings account because it got us through. But after a year, it was like, sis, you need to go get you a job. So I went and got me a job. And I'm forever grateful for my employment. And along with my employment, I also see just a handful of clients. I can no way, shape, or form take on the amount of clients I had when I was just a full-time entrepreneur, because I do have a full-time job. So I'm seeing my clients when I can. So it's just a handful of clients that I see. But my goal is to get back into being a full-time therapist. That is my passion. That is my calling. And that is where I'm the most me. That is where I'm the most at home. That is where I feel the most safe. That is where I feel the most satisfied, is when I'm working with my clients. So I'm excited to see how this journey unfolds and gets me back to that space with this newfound perspective. When I started as a mental health therapist, I started in drug and alcohol addiction. So I was a counselor for those working through their drug and alcohol addictions. And I'll never forget, this man asked me, "Were you ever on drugs? Have you ever been an alcoholic?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Well, how in the world can you help me? Like, you don't even know what I've been through. You don't even know my life. Like, you never even tried drugs before. Like, you can't even help me." And I remember feeling so hurt and so defeated. And I'm like, well, shit, he got a point. Like, I mean, I have the book knowledge. Like, I took an addictions class. Like, I got my degree. Certainly I can help you. But what he shined a light on was, it's nothing like sitting across from someone in a healing space that has a shared experience. And I feel like the reason God took me through postpartum depression is so that I can connect with my clients more, because I learned about postpartum depression. Like, I thought I knew about it, but it's nothing like having that experience. In addition to that, just motherhood in general. Like, yeah, you could sit in front of a therapist that's not a mom and they'd be able to help you, but it's nothing like sitting across a therapist that is a mom, that has gone through life, like, that has struggles, that's human. And I think one of the things that I dislike about some of like the ethics or whatever that therapists are brought up on is that we are taught to keep our life private, right? That the session is about the client, like, keep our life private. And I agree with that to some extent. Like, in a therapy session, if you're paying me to help you, I'm not going to sit in your therapy session and talk about me. Like, no. We have something called, disclosure. Like, when is there an appropriate time to, like, self-disclose? And I use that very sparingly. However, I find that the traditional therapy kind of puts the therapist on the pedestal. Like, the therapist is the leader. The therapist gives you advice. The therapist tells you, and like, the client is here and you have to listen to your therapist. And I really want to transform that, because we're all human, and healing is very communal, or it should be communal. So yes, I am your guide. Yes, I am your therapist, but you are the ruler of your life. You are in charge of your life. I'm here to offer you different perspectives. I'm here to see the things you can't see within yourself and call those out, but you are in charge. And I'm so excited to, again, I keep saying this, I'm probably repeating myself, to see where this journey takes me. Now that I have had that experience of postpartum depression, now that I have had that experience of struggling in motherhood, of, even though I have a husband, like, a struggling through parenting, how that changed our marital dynamics, how that shifted our household. Like, I have that experience to be able to help you through your experience. And that guy, back in the day of my drug and alcohol addiction treatment days, he had a point. He had a point. Okay, so I have rambled enough. Let me talk to you about how I'm going to start preparing myself now that you know, like, what I'm doing on my personal side, what I'm doing on my certification side to help my clients. So, and I just created a list. This is in no order. I was just journaling and just writing down, like, things that I know I need to do to start getting myself ready. And the first thing is, hold your breath. Waking up at 5 a.m. Non-negotiable. My kids start waking up at 7 a.m. I need to wake up at 5 a.m. I need to be up 2 solid hours before I am needed, before I need to change a pull-up, take her to the pot, cook her breakfast, hear her iPad. Like, before my house wakes up, I need 2 solid hours to myself. So I am committed to waking up at 5 a.m. Monday through Friday. Saturdays, I am waking up at 6 a.m. because on Saturdays, they sleep in a little later. Saturday and Sunday, I am waking up at 6 a.m. Monday through Friday, I'm up at 5. The next thing I'm committed myself to is meditating daily, every single day. I don't care if it's a 2-minute meditation, a 5-minute meditation, a 30-minute meditation, a 60-second meditation. I am going to sit with myself every single day. And that honestly might happen in those 2 hours that I'm up before my house wakes up. It might be before I go to bed. I'm not going to put myself in a box to say when I'm going to do it. I'm committed to doing it. There are so many ways in which I can meditate. I have several apps. There's YouTube meditations. I have my own YouTube meditations. Make sure you check out my YouTube meditations as well. So I am going to sit with self every single day. I'm not going to say what time of day. I'm not going to say how long. However, I'm going to sit with myself. The next thing I'm committing myself to is daily movement. Movement is so healing. If you are a very sedentary person, maybe it's your lifestyle, your job, whatever, that energy is just balled up. Like you are not expelling any of that energy. And I know for me, when I don't move my body, I am so anxious. I'm easily frustrated, and I just get annoyed easily if I have not moved my body. So every single day, even the weekends, I am moving my body, whether that's a walk, a Pilates class, going to the gym, doing yoga. I'm not setting myself a restraint to the time, but I am setting a dedication to move my body intentionally every single day. You probably hear the girls running around in the background. I'm hiding in the bathroom. I hope they do not find me before I finish this video. Okay, so the next thing I'm committing myself to is daily journaling. Every single day I'm going to write. Even if it's a affirmation, it can be how I'm feeling, it can be setting my intentions for the day. Every single day I'm going to open up my journal and I am going to write. That's it. That's all. It don't matter what time of day. It don't matter how much I write, how little. I can write down 10 things I'm grateful for today. That counts as journaling. Every single day, including the weekends, I am going to journal. Next, I am going to break my fast in the morning with some tea. Right now, it looks like in the morning, the first thing I'm grabbing is coffee, and I'm gonna cut that. And first thing in the morning on an empty belly, I am going to break my fast with herbal tea. There is something so healing and so spiritual for me about a hot cup of tea. So I am going to start my day with a cup of tea. Not juice, not soda. I'm not even a juice or soda person anyway, but coffee, yes. But I'm going to start doing tea first thing in the morning. Next, I am going to read something every single day. I would like to read a chapter every day, but I'm not even going to put that much pressure on myself. It could be a page. It could be a passage. It could be an article. It can be a book. It can be anything. But I am going to sit down and read something every single day. Something positive. Not the news. Not what's happening in the world. But something positive. Whether it's the 4 agreements, which one of my clients had called out as something that she wants to reread. And I was like, ooh, I should probably reread that too. Or it could be The Secret. It can be one of my fictional books that I have. I'm not going to even put that box on myself. As long as I read something positive every single day, I'll feel good about it. All right, this one is so important to me, and this is tending to my spiritual environment, which is my home. So keeping my house clean, keeping it clutter free, also tending to my spiritual space. You might have that. Maybe you have like a prayer closet or a meditation room or even a meditation corner. Maybe you set up an altar or whatever your religious and spiritual practices are, whatever that looks like. Maybe it's a tiny little book corner nook that you've created for yourself. Whatever that is, for me, I am going to be tending to my spiritual environment. So again, that means keeping my house clean, keeping it clutter free. In the space that I have in my home where I connect to self, I am going to keep that clean. I'm going to tend to it and do the things in my spiritual practice that I do to tend to my spiritual area. Okay, so I talked about tea. The next thing is drinking water, which is so underrated, but being a Reiki practitioner, I learned early on how important drinking water is. Don't quote me, but our body is like something percent of water, and we need water. Like, we need to flush ourselves with water. So I am committed to drinking 2 Stanleys a day, and these are 40 ounces. So 80 ounces of water a day is more than enough for my body. Plus, I'm going to also be drinking tea first thing in the morning. So, and my mug is 10 ounces. So what's that? 90 ounces of water a day. But I am committed to drinking water. I'll do another video about the connection of water and spirituality. But for now, for the sake of this list, I'm going to be drinking my water. Okay, speaking of water, the next thing I am going to commit myself to doing is taking a bath every week. At least one day out of the week, I am going to take a bath. I am very much a shower girly, especially with my busy life and my busy schedule. And honestly, I just love feeling like the shower water like hit my back after a long day. So I'm very much a shower girly. However, I'm going to commit myself to taking a bath at least once a week, and not just any old bath, but a bath filled with herbs, filled with Epsom salt. So really taking an intentional spiritual bath. I'm going to light candles in my bathroom. I'm just going to romanticize this whole bath situation. And if you don't have a bath, I recommend you doing a foot soak. Foot soaks are good too. So same thing, you could do Epsom salt, you could put some herbs in there, whatever you want, some rose petals, however that looks for you, and soak your feet for those who may not have access to a soaking bathtub. But thankfully I do. So once a week, probably on Sundays, as like a reset, I will be doing my weekly spiritual bath. Okay, last but not least, I am going to restrict my usage of social media. I honestly have been off social media for like 2 years. I just got back on social media, and I'm talking like Instagram, Facebook, Threads, all of that, in August of this year. And I've noticed, just with me being back on social media, it's been reintroduced in my life in a way that I'm just not liking. And I remember one day I was like, you know what, forget this. I'm just going to delete it again. And I'm like, no, you need to have control of your usage. So not checking my social media first thing in the morning, not checking my social media before I go to bed, but I'm going to check my social media once a day, because people do DM me. People have questions. People are looking to connect with me, whether it's for Reiki or for therapy. People are commenting, on posts that I share. So I do want to engage with my audience. However, I want to be very intentional. So I am committing myself to checking my social media once a day, preferably midday around my lunch-ish break time. So around like 12:30, when I'm just like on a break, I want to get up, focus on myself, get my kids ready, get them off to school, get work going. When I take my midday break, I'll check in with social media, even coming here on YouTube, responding to comments, and engaging on YouTube as well, and then be done. Be done into the next day. And that, I feel, is really going to help me remain present, because social media be loud. That's why I got off of it, because it just social media be screaming. And I'm already overstimulated with my kids. Just opening up the app, I'd be like, ugh. So I literally open up my Instagram app. I hit that little thing. It's like at the top right, I think it like shows like if people comment on your thing, on your post, and then I click the little arrow in the middle that takes you to the DMs to see messages. After that, I bounce. I'm sorry, I can't. Which is why I love YouTube. Just the interface of YouTube is just so settling to my nervous system. Instagram is just overstimulating for me. I can't handle it. However, that is where some of my community is, so I want to be able to engage with them. Okay, so that is my list of how I am going to start preparing my mind, my body, my spirit for this beautiful journey I'm going to be on. I am going to take you along with me. Again, these videos are going to be different than like my traditional vlog styles. And I'm going to be very mindful of the type of work that I'm going to be doing. I might not be able to show you guys everything because some things are sacred. And to be honest, I want to be present in the experience. I don't want to have a camera up while I'm engaging in my learning or and I don't want to show other people either. Like, this is a very intimate container and I'm not going to jeopardize the integrity of the group for the sake of being able to record it. And this is not a performance. Like, when you're deep in your healing and deep in your work, there's really no time to record that. Like, you're super focused. But what I am going to do is have a reflective moment with you all. I will share what the experience entailed. I'll share what I learned. I'll share my insights. I'll share how I am applying them. So these videos are going to be more sit down. Hopefully I won't have to hide in my bathroom. But my husband had a meeting at my oldest daughter dance school today. He's a prop dad, so he like builds the props and stuff. So they had a meeting. So I'm home with the girls and I'm like, ooh, I need to hide in the bathroom. But on a typical day, I'll be able to be in a more visually appealing space to be able to do reflections. I'll share as much as I can, again, without jeopardizing the integrity of the container that I'm in for my apprenticeship, as well as my certification training as well. But I will do weekly check-ins, so just be prepared for that. It's going to be more sit down. These are called talking heads. So more sit down talking head videos, and those will probably be once a week, as well as my typical vlog day in my lifestyle as well. So it's going to be a lot of content coming out. Maybe you're interested in both. Maybe you're interested in one or the other. Whichever, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave me a comment as well, because I know some of y'all watching and I don't know you're watching. So leave me a comment so I can know there's real humans here. Let me know what you're looking forward to. Let me know if you're on your own journey as well. And if you have not done so, please make sure that you like this video. What else? Like this video. Subscribe, especially if this is like your second or third time you've watched me on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, leave a comment. Also share this video. Maybe you know another person that's maybe not a mom, or maybe they are a mom or a dad or whoever that might be interested in my videos, especially as I go through my rededication of my spirituality practices and getting my certification. Maybe you're a therapist, maybe one of your friends or family members is a therapist that's interested in this integrative practice, that might be interested in this. So share the wealth, share the love, like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Until next time, be well.